DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ about the show.
It is 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday night. Do you know where your DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. It is another DJ Roundtable and another fun time for everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. And, you know, it's after Thanksgiving and after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Yesterday was Cyber Monday for us. And if you're watching this in the future, this is when it was recorded. It was recorded the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So we got Christmas coming up for 2024. And so we got a lot of other things. And if you're here watching on Twitch, thank you so much for watching. Greatly appreciated. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself here on Twitch. And I'm just moving a few things around here so you see me move my head. I got multiple screens going on as always, so I can keep everyone all up on everything and keep everything going. Also, if you could do me a favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, first thing first, I want to thank the new subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing. And I want to thank everyone here who is on the show. Don't forget, they all have YouTube channels, including Jordan and Taylor. And I see Jordan right down there. Hopefully Taylor will join us in a little bit. They have a YouTube channel, and they have a cool commercial for their little service, for their DJ service. And I thought it was really, really cool. I give it a thumbs up. Their link will be down below along with everyone else that has a YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you do me a favor. I have this big problem called the algorithm here on YouTube, or you know, it's a beast. It's a monster. It's huge, and I need to slay that beast, and I need your help. If you could do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button. You know, give it a thumbs up, or touch it, or click on it, wherever you want to do. Massage it, whatever you want to do to the thumb button. Make sure it's up there. Make sure you hit subscribe. And make sure you hit the bell icon. Plus, one more thing, share the video with a few other DJs. Be greatly appreciated. We got some winter weather going on in New York, it looks like. And it looked like we were actually exploding holidays over in South Carolina. We got Paul this week from Australia versus last week we had Dynablend. I was like, I got to get both of you guys. Maybe you guys are the same person because you're never in the same room at the same time. Maybe he takes his glasses off, turns to Dynablend.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, it's Dynablend. No, I'm just kidding.
Bully.
Of course, we have Jeff in beautiful North Carolina, Rentley up in the world of cheese, Wisconsin, or AKA beautiful La Crosse, which you can watch on Code Blue Cam. You didn't catch Brentley on there yet. Yet is a keyword, but you can catch some of the residents of La Crosse on there.
I don't smoke meth.
Okay.
Not happening.
Won't happen then. Also, you turn your volume up a little bit, Brentley. We got Dwayne in Ohio, and of course we got Jordan and Taylor in beautiful Indiana, just to the east of me. And they get to enjoy some of the weather I have here in Chicago.
It's so cold.
It's not that cold.
It's
man.
so cold.
It's 23 by me, so I'm sure you guys are about the same.
Yeah.
It's not that cold. It could be worse. It'll be worse in January and February. We all know that.
Worse.
Yeah. So it's always fun and stuff like that when I get to read things and see things, and especially people ask questions and stuff like that. And I'm being joined by my producer. So if you see little ears popping up, the executive producer is in the house. I wanted to ask you guys a few things here, and I kind of have a list, and I've been jotting down some ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. And I want to hear.
Twice?
Yes, I'm going to check it twice. Let's see here. Who's the bad boy? Oh wow, DJ Brantley up in
Right
Wisconsin.
There.
You wait. It says Kenosha and La Crosse. What do you do in Kenosha?
I don't go to Kenosha.
Well, it says Kenosha here and La Crosse.
Can we get
you in Kenosha lately?
Nope, just Green Bay the last few weekends.
It says Kenosha.
Go Pack, go.
I don't know.
Go Pack, go.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. There's just too much wrong with Kenosha. Sorry, can't do it.
I DJ
I
in
passed
Kenosha. I
through,
go
it's kinda
across the
like-
border, and you
Here.
know,
For it, Jordan Taylor, it's kind of like passing through Gary or like East Chicago on the way to Crown Point, going through Kenosha, if that makes sense.
it's not that bad.
Not that I've
right by 94.
Ever done that?
Hey, if you remember
But
it,
it's
Uncle
kind of like
Buckley's from he played in Kenosha. You know, his band, his polka band were huge in Kenosha.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and I speaking of polka, because one of the venues I run, and now I'm really back in the management loop. We book polka bands every Friday and Saturday. So a couple of the guys that were doubles in that scene with him are actual polka players who, yeah, a couple of them we have at Lacrosse Beer House here in Lacrosse.
Well, see, there you go. You never know where you run into, especially in Wisconsin. It's always interesting. I thought Wisconsin was more German than Polish because we have a huge
It
Polish
definitely-
population down here.
There's a mix, but like I wouldn't say half and half. Some areas are predominantly Polish, some areas are predominantly German, and there's a very big Norwegian populace up here. Just
Yeah, I can see that.
30 minutes out of town.
Well, plus also they make a lot of beer in Milwaukee,
Exactly.
and even Frankie Yankovic did a song, "Beer from Milwaukee," which I do play because it's a good polka song. So I want to ask you guys real quickly. Again, I was jotting down some ideas, and I found I was trying to think of some cool things to ask you guys because again, the holiday season stuff like that, and have fun here on the show. So I would like to get a tip or a trick that you do in less than 1 minute. What I mean by that, I want you guys to think of a tip or trick that you can share with other DJs that you do. That's within a minute, or two, you can explain to someone, hey, you know what I found works really great is to, wrap cables a certain way or something, some trick that that's helped you out, that you could share that in a minute or two. So I'm going to go to Jeff. Are you ready? You have a trick that you can share?
I'm never ready.
Tricks of me trade, oh boy. Tricks of me trade.
Always come to me first. That's okay.
Well, it's because
what is my
you
tip
pondering.
or trick? I've got so many that I can't think of them all. But
Okay. Do you want me to come back to you in a minute?
organization for me. My tip for never leaving anything at the house, or if you get your if you store your stuff at a storage facility or whatever. For me, before every gig, I will set everything in a large pile exactly how I'm going to stow it in my vehicle. So if it's if I'm taking the Mauis or if I'm taking the Mackies, I will put them in there in the order and the position where they're going to fit in my vehicle. Okay. So I know everything that's going to be going, and I know that I'm not leaving anything behind. So then when I go to load up, it goes in, I know where it's going. I know what to load first. And it's exactly how it's going to fit. So that's what I do. It's maybe a little bit, too crazy, but that has always worked for me, and it might work for somebody else.
And that helps out actually staging stuff, getting stuff ready and getting stuff together to know what you're loading on. Now, like us, we have some stuff loaded onto our van, the basic stuff, cables and stuff. But the thing is that, loading other things and staging things, we kind of do, Tracy and I kind of do the same thing, is stage some stuff, getting ready to put into the van and know where stuff is at to get everything ready and together to get out of the house, out of the door, into the van, or in storage. We kind of have stuff stored in certain ways so we can grab it real quickly out of storage and at the storage facility. So I think that's a very, very smart and very good thing.
Yeah, because I mean, we've all seen gig logs of other DJs, and inevitably, about out of every 3 or 4 gig logs, they're mentioning something. I forgot my scrims, or I forgot my totems, or I forgot my cables, or I forgot my camera, I forgot my SD card. It's always something. And it happens to those people that are the busiest. I get it. You're busy, and things happen. But for me, staging works. So.
And I wonder sometimes some of that is fake and to try and make, hey, look, the emergency. Oh my God, it's happening. And all of a sudden now, all of a sudden they're heroes because look, I overcame this thing. I always wonder about that.
Could be.
Could be. I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying maybe one or two. But yeah, I've seen that plenty of times where people, oh, I forgot this, forgot that. It's like that, and the other thing is time management. Show up to the gig late. Like you're supposed to be there a few hours prior to, and you show up supposedly an hour before, or a half hour before, or coming in during like people are there already, getting ready, and it's like, wait, why shouldn't you be there earlier? I'm gonna go over to Hunter. Hunter, is there a tip or trick that you can give in the minute or less?
Well, here's one thing you got to do. A week or two before an event, always make sure you go over your DJ sets to make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have the songs that the clients want. And also make sure your transitions are smooth.
Okay. So you play you sit back and play all the music?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You got your DJ set. So we have pre-staging equipment and then playing a DJ set to make sure you got all the songs. I'm going to go over to Dwayne over there in beautiful Ohio.
Because there's one thing that we don't like, and that is to have missing songs just in case you get a request and say, hey, no, I don't have it. Gonna make sure you download.
You can't have every song. Someone comes up to you and asks a song. If I walked up to you and request a song, you don't have it. It happens. Unfortunately, you can't have every single song. Even like, streaming services don't have every song. Because I can give you tons of songs that are not available on the streaming services everyone uses.
Yeah.
But Dwayne, is there a tip or trick that you can give out in a minute or two?
Yep. There's 2 prep things that I do, especially now that I have the time. I try before the gig is try to pull out all the equipment that I need and the cables, and I try to put the cables that go with a certain speaker or light, try to put it all in the same bag, and all the extra stuff I try to put it all in one bin. So therefore, I know exactly what I'm going to use and take out of the car and load in, so I can set up and break down quicker. And as far as the music, I always try to make sure I tag my songs because it's easy to, if you get put in a situation where you have to like DJ without prepping, then if your songs are like tagged, and I usually tag mine as like warm-up songs, coaster songs, and bangers, and then I also color code them according to mood. So I know this song, the energy is usually a low energy, and this one will be a high energy. So I found by prepping and doing that, and then for each gig, creating their own little separate crate, and I put the crates in like situations of the night, like while I play when I warm up, while I play during this time, line dances, slow dances, and all that. And I always try to have like a already made mix, so I can play music as soon as I get the speakers on. I have music going before I start playing, and then when I break down, I always still have music going, so we have something to listen to while we break down. So that helps me out.
See, once, like with me and Tracy, once the event's over, I want the music to stop because I want people to leave. So, not having music, okay, that's fine and great because we're taking speakers down. I will tell you, when we get done and we're, last song, and people sometimes, they chant one more, and usually you're right at the clock, wherever the end time is, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever it is, midnight, whatever it is, we're usually there. And Tracy, as soon as I'm done and the last song's played and it's ended, she's already turned the speakers off and taking them apart. So she's already got that going. And I'm taking computer down and shutting it down and doing things. And So we want to get out of there quickly, but still having music, I could see having that at the end of the night. It would be nice, but also I want the people to leave, so I won't do that. But it is a good thing to have. I'm gonna go next to I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to Taylor and Jordan. Now both you guys, both DJ, both you guys, both do all these fun things for your business, and you both have fun doing that. But what fun little tip or trick you guys have? And I actually like to hear from each one of you, just one trick, or you guys can give each one about a minute long, if you guys have that something that helps you out.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Mine is kind of similar to Dwayne's, but like for each wedding, like in virtual DJ, I'll have the couples folder and all my subfolders. So I'll make sure I have all my ceremony, prelude, cocktail, dinner, dancing, requests, all in their separate folders. The moments folder where, all the important songs are, and especially in the moments folder throughout the night, I'll delete what we gone through. So let's say like the introductions are on there, the dances, like once I've played what I need to play, I delete or, remove it from that folder. And then I also just really make sure that I have a good timeline. And like even on the timeline, I make sure the correct songs are on there, their cue points. I want it to be like I can give it to somebody and they can look at it and within 20 minutes know what to do. Like we can start with introductions and they know what song, what cue point. Like it's really detailed. It's probably a little too detailed, but I mean, it helps me. I like to make sure everything like is like in the right order, written down.
Still go as far as to highlight the cue point, like where it says Q2 and what color, like if it's an orange on the computer, it's the orange one. So you can look at it and say orange button.
Because like the guy that I work for too, like I DJ assist for, like I'll get there. He'll be like, be here at like 5 o'clock. I get there, ceremony is at 6. He hands me the timeline for the day and I already know what to do. Like I can just look at it and go. So I like to make it like that too, like for him when I'm making it. So he can just look at it and know what to do instantly and not have to, because he's getting other things ready. That's more my like I like to get the timeline and music together. So yeah.
And my tip would be I think similar to Dwayne's too. Kind of putting everything with each other. So if that light needs a 20-foot power cord, there's a 20-foot power cord, a wireless DMX dongle, the charger, the adapter to plug that, everything to get that light going. So if I just grab that light and I put it in my car, I know that I can plug that light in. I know it has DMX. I know, same with speakers. Like I keep a power cord, which each speaker, an XLR. If I need to grab my 2 top speakers, I have 2 XLRs, 2 power cables. I know that I can play a gig with those 2 speakers. So I like to keep, things together like that. I have a bin of extra stuff, but like each light that uses a wireless dongle will have a dongle in the case with the cord. Just that kind of stuff. So it's very grab and go. I didn't forget my bin of DMX dongles because, in worst case scenarios, when you do forget something, you'd be like, well, I got an extra XLR in here and I can go grab that. But also just being organized.
One of the things also for you, when you grab your stuff, you grab the light, you grab a speaker, you grab whatever. Are you using I know sometimes some manufacturers have bags on the case. Do you use those bags to put the cables in?
Yes. So my, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my Mackies they're like almost like book bags that they go into. And yeah, I keep an XLR, a power cable, and actually 2 XLRs because of the sub. But
then our EVs are in a rolling case.
With same thing, 2 XLRs and 2 power cables.
Yeah.
And that's the important stuff is having the basics because, get to a gig kind of like what Jeff was saying before. You see these DJs pull up and, oh man, I forgot my XLR cables. How am I gonna get sound from
Oh,
the
here's
mixer to
another
the
important
speaker?
tip. Have good bags or covers for them or cases to keep them protected. That's a good thing.
And I know that Brentley has used Tukey covers. We'll talk to Brentley in a second or two, but Tukey, one of the things they do offer on their bags, which I'm very impressed on, and you pay a few bucks extra, but you can get a pouch on the bags. And if I need to replace a cover, because I bought original OEM covers from RCF, or if I need to replace a cover, I'm definitely going to order Tukey covers. And one of the things we're going to make sure it has the pouch in the side, because a few cables in there, not a bad thing. Now, one thing that like Tracy and I do, kind of build off what you guys do, Jordan Taylor, we have a tote that's for each set of speakers. So like I have a tote for the J8 whites. I have a tote for a J8 black. I have a tote for a Maui 5 black, Maui 5 white. I have a tote for the DB speakers. And in those totes, we have XLR cable, we have IEC cables, a couple different lengths, IEC, a couple extension cords, a Furman power strip, a few things in there, basic stuff in there that we can get in, plug in, and do stuff. And that's, to me, is a huge, huge thing, is making sure you bring with you your basics, because you don't have, like before, you don't have an XLR cable, you're not getting anything there. And I am glad to hear you guys use the pouches and everything that on top of stuff. Let's see here. Oh, hold on one second here. I need. All right. Got a spammer in the chat, so we don't want them here. But the thing is, I'm glad to hear that. Is there one thing that going back to Jordan Taylor, is there one thing that the two of you do that I asked for one from each, but is there one thing that both of you guys do every single time to make sure you're successful at a gig? That you guys rely on each other. You're like, hey, remind me to do this, or I gotta remind you to do that. Like a item that you bring, or a setup that you do, or something else.
Lunch. I could think of two things. We always bring lunch.
Okay.
We always pack a cooler.
Drinks.
And
Extra clothes because we sweat.
And we actually, me and Taylor, do utilize walkie-talkies.
It sounds lame,
It
but
does sound lame.
it
smart.
really works.
We use them too.
They work great, and especially like with us, there's a lot of like, barn venues, big open spaces where you got to go. So it really works.
It's amazing how often you don't bring your phone with you when you run out to the car.
And that's the thing, is that barn venues, if especially you bring in other staff, like, again, we have a couple extra staff members, having those cheap walkie-talkies with the little ear thing and the inline microphone, it sounds funny, but you can buy them very inexpensively. They're on the FRS, and you put it on a private listening channel, each one, so that way you're locked out, so no one can listen in, and you can't listen to other people talk. And you just have 4 or 5 of those radios ready to go. Tracy and I have used that plenty of times, and just phenomenal for working. That's always a great thing to use. And don't buy the really cheap ones, because the real cheap ones that you can get off like T-Mo and stuff like that, they stink. Actually buy some good quality ones, Kenwood, Motorola. There's a few other brands too that are they make public safety radios, so they have more robust electronics inside of it. You don't want to buy some company called, Jim's walkie-talkies, and they're, $6 on, Temu, because they're like the kids' walkie-talkies. Like when you're a little kid, you have the 2 walkie-talkies that sound like crap. You want stuff that's professional.
Radio Shack
$2
brand.
bucks. Yeah.
Something you can change the channel.
Yes, you can change the channel. You can put PLs on it, so private listening codes, so you can put for receive and transmit. So even in that channel, no one else can eavesdrop into your channel. So if you're talking about something, you're not interfering with anyone else, especially like a lot of facilities have for their kitchen staff radios or for maintenance staff. You don't want to interfere with their system. So having those two-way radios is a good thing, especially with big weddings. We've used that, especially with multiple setups, and have to get a hold of one of our employees, or I need to get a hold of Tracy. Even though you can text someone, and like Tracy has a she has a smartwatch. Still, sometimes she's not looking at it. She doesn't feel it vibrate, or I don't see my phone vibrate because I've been silent, or my employee doesn't see it, his phone vibrating. Having a radio, have a thing in the air, you hear all of a sudden someone goes, "Hey, hey buddy," or "Hey, Jordan," or "Hey Taylor," or "Who, hey whatever, hey Brentley, hey, I need you to move this or do this, or can you go grab that?" Yeah, that makes things much easier. Or hey, where you at? Oh, can you go grab the bride? Can you go grab the groom? That, or the groom's looking for you, or the bride's looking for you. That helps out a lot. I'm gonna go
I'll make a note to
to
myself that not to buy one of those watch walkie-talkies. $4
Dick
from
Tracy.
Timu.
Wait, Tracy's smartwatch. She could get cell phone calls through it. She's a Samsung smartwatch, so that right there rocks. Smartwatches, it helps out tremendously, especially for her, for the coordination. She rocks out, and she, someone texts her, she's always looking at it, and she's always getting stuff. But it's one of those things that sometimes she's busy doing something, and she doesn't feel it vibrate or hear beep or whatever. And I'm like, "Hey, I text you." She's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I forgot." Or she doesn't have time to answer back. Well, walkie-talkie, a little quicker at first response. I'm gonna go to Brentley, and ask him: is there a tip or a trick you can give in less than 1 or 2 minutes?
Attention to details. Every aspect of your entire day. And you guys have covered a small premise of it by saying, I'm prepping for my loadout. I'm, staging my equipment behind my car. I'm doing this. As wedding entertainers, we have a unique knowledge of everything throughout the course of the day, from timeline. And this goes even before that to the booking process. And for example, how to not book couples that aren't right for you. From start to finish, attention to the details of how you talk to them when you first book with them or they book with you, to weed out the couples that aren't good for you and you're not good for, to your week of preparation, to your final meeting or phone call, to on day. I have a checklist for everything. So when I get into an actual sales call with somebody, I will pull up on my computer and read off my checklist and cover all the topics I know I need to cover with them to make sure I'm the right DJ. Then when it comes to like each wedding, I have a checklist that, have I done all this pre-planning work leading up to my final meeting with them? Once I've done that, my checklist for all the equipment I have to use. And hand in hand with that, I'll even go down to what I'm wearing, so far as which suit I'm picking out, what shoes, what color tie, the whole 9 yards. So I can literally, the morning of, grab my folder, and with my checklist on it, and just go to it. And like with you guys, like how you're staging all your equipment, before you're putting it in, making sure the right cables are in the right totes and all that. I found out, this might be the biggest tip I'll give everybody. I don't single out my speakers for cables or like put them in with my speaker bags. I legitimately have, like, my Toadmatic is all white. I'm not going to use a black cable with it. So I have a full-on set of white cables for everything, plus their duplicates stored in my Toad. So I don't need to bring an extra cable box. But when it comes to my other facades, because I have, 4 or 5 different facades I'm using, what's behind the facade isn't going to change that often. And all the cabling that should go to it will either be white or black. So I have one. It's like a 30-pound box. It's like, a legitimate sound person's crate. And it has 2 sets of white, 2 sets of black, every possible adapter I could possibly come across and need, be it a splitter, be it direct boxes with 1/4-inch cables, and all of that. And do I need it when I have my Toad? Absolutely not. Is it there when I have my Toad? Absolutely. So across the board, everything, like even for my lights, I have lighting, like the light box with the cables that go to all of the lights. So the other advantage of that is if my gear were to get jacked, the person who jacks it is going to have a speaker but no cable, and it's going to raise some red flags when it starts hitting the pawn shops or going on Facebook Marketplace, especially in a super small market like La Crosse. Out of a 55,000 person town, how many people would really be interested in it, and how many of them do I know? It would balance its way down and work its way down where I can find out who jacked my gear. But my preparation for every aspect of the wedding is so meticulous that by the time I get there, I don't need to think about anything. I don't need to be like, did I grab the right cables? It's on my checklist. I am prepared. And I don't second guess it anymore. If it's on there, I just do as it says. And do I review that checklist numerous times before I actually get to the day of? But if you have meticulous preparation, your day of should be flawless.
Hopefully it's flawless, but can't control the weather. You can't control what other people do. Hopefully no one's ganking your equipment. No one's taking anything that doesn't belong to you. That belongs to you. Not take anything.
Legitimately, 2 seasons ago, one of the DJs that used to work for us parked his car in behind his house, went in to use the bathroom. Yeah, he had to drop one. I get that. You rush home after a gig, you got to go. He could have been there more than 10 minutes. He came back and everything was out of his car. And his car was locked. Smashed 2 windows, not 1, 2. I'm like, why'd you have to do that? But La Crosse has its share of Code Blue Cam participants. And those participants do a lot of stupid crap.
Henceforth, go watch Code Blue Cam on YouTube. They have a lot of La Crosse there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of us.
Yes. There's stuff for Illinois too. I watch a lot of body cam videos on YouTube. It's always interesting. But yes, unfortunately, La Crosse has that. But here's one of the things that I had the name blocked, but this is a laminated basically timeline for a wedding that we did. And this is, it's that timeline when you put that stuff together. I know you guys can't see it too well with it, but the timeline is very important. Putting this timeline together, like what basically what Brentley is saying, putting a timeline, saying what you're doing, when you're going to do stuff, when you're going to show stuff up, asking, what time is the bride and groom going to show up at the venue. A lot of times we're there early, but sometimes with the ceremony, they're there early. The girls are getting their hair done, getting their makeup done. The guys are there, come at a certain time because, they want to come there and start doing pictures. They're going to do pre-ceremony pictures. They're going to do a first look, stuff like that. Those questions that you should be asking your couples, you want to make sure you have in that timeline. And that's a big thing that, Tracy and I, when we talk to people, we have multiple meetings, first one usually Zoom, other ones usually in person, depending on people's schedules, sometimes Zoom. We ask a lot of questions. Who's your contact at the facility? If we have, if we have not been to the facility, and I call the facility and ask questions for them. All that stuff like that, as well as, like I've said before, them actually proofing their special songs. We actually sit down with them and have them listen to the special song so they know exactly it's the right rendition, the right artist version of the song they're coming into for intros. Just their special songs. I'm not having to do every single song in the night, but they're special songs. So they actually listen to it and they go, oh, Black Eyed Peas. Okay. I'd like this song, but I want to start at this time. Or can you take out this? Or I just had a couple that she didn't like will.i.am's rap in the beginning of the song. So I took it out. They want instrumental. They made that part instrumental when they came in. Then I dropped it when he said, when he started talking again, he started singing everybody, and he dropped it right when he said that, let's get stupid, and boom, that's when they came in. So it's one of the things, working out timing and stuff like that. Having it on a timeline, having that written down and detailed is very important. And Tracy and I actually do a lot of, it sounds kind of old fashioned, but we actually have basically cardboard cards, different colors for different things, that will have the information down there. How do you say the couple's name? how are they referred to, first and last name? Is it Taylor and Jordan, or do they have their little names like, Love Muffin and Stud Bunny? Whatever the names are, that's the ones. That's I guessed your names, right? I saw I saw Jordan smile. But it's like anything else. How are those people referred to? Are they going by their nicknames? They're going by their full names. Are they going by something else? But it's individualize that couple's information and have that, not only the special songs. And Tracy will put down by me each one of those cards. I'll have a couple cards, one for ceremony, one for the reception. I'll have all the songs. What are we doing stuff? Are we doing something different? All those important things. And she controls the timeline. That's one of her jobs. I'm going to go next to Paul in Melbourne. Paul, is there a tip or trick that you could share with other DJs in less than a minute that could help someone out?
Yeah, there's a couple. One is I have a sheet, like a check-off sheet of all the gear that I have to take with me, and as even though I have everything prepped beforehand, as I put it in the car, tick it off, tick it off, tick it off, and it's like make sure I have everything that ticked off on the list. Also, I make sure that I have all the appropriate paperwork, timelines, etc. But especially a copy of the contract, because then they said, "Oh, we didn't ask for." Oh, hang on, yeah, you did. Here it is, here in black and white. And where's the lasers, or where's the monogram? You didn't ask for that. See, you said no. If you had have asked for it, it'd be included in the contract. So everything you promise to them, make sure that you take, if you say you're going to bring 4 speakers, take 4 speakers. Don't just take 2 and say, these will cover it because they're loud enough. Because then technically you'd be in breach of your contract if you promised them X, Y, Z amount of equipment and you fail to deliver. You're in breach of contract, and it becomes messy and not so fun event. Other than that, at the end of your gig, first things first, make sure you secure your laptop or your device because that's one of the things that I've heard is hot property, so to speak, with light-fingered guests. So secure your laptop in your vehicle, or if you've got a secure place, like say you've got an area within, say like Brettly's got a Toadmatic box, if you can secure it in there, something similar to that. But other than that, I'm pretty sure that most DJs are organized, although I have heard some horror stories on YouTube where DJs have forgotten their primary laptop and they get to the gig, which is an hour away, and I was like, "Oh, where's my laptop?" It's like I haven't touched wood, haven't come across that for myself, but that's always make sure you got everything, your T's crossed and your I's dotted. So,
and that's the important thing: having an inventory list of what you're doing and knowing exactly, and securing your laptop. That is crucial. And also, I would add to that your mobile phone, because how much information you have on your phone. You have pictures, you have video on there from the wedding, hopefully, or party or whatever, that you're going to post to social media later or do a gig log or whatever. If you have any camera equipment, like Jeff, he has GoPros and stuff like that. I'm sure he has a case for it all. And because he's around television and has been for years, he knows that stuff. But still, he has that stuff. He knows where it's at. And he kind of does an inventory of what he brought in and he's taken out. And that's the important stuff, because we know there we go. There's the GoPros. We know that, this stuff is not cheap, and having, a inventory, and especially a written inventory, is not a bad thing. I know a few DJs that do that. That's actually very smart, and that's a smart way to do it. And Brentley does it. He has a checklist, and he's going through and saying, okay, I brought in this, I brought in that. Finally, I'm going to go to Chris. Chris, I kind of saved the best for last.
I've got some doozies, and I have to say, pretty much everyone here has spelled it all out. So I'm just going to go over a review on prep, details, review everything, not just once, twice, everything. Prep everything twice. Get your details. I am a stickler for details. I pride myself on the details that I provide my clients. All right. Everyone's heard of this before. You know, when they have that review and prep, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Is there any military personnel here that been in the military service? They know what that means. 2 is 1, 1 is none. The biggest next thing is while at the gig, don't let them see you upset or emotional when things go awry, or when fan, excuse my French, you know. So don't show that.
Now I gotta beep you. Oh, I didn't beep you last week. Come on.
No, you didn't. You didn't have to
Yeah, I
beep me
did.
last week. No, it was the other guy.
Yeah, Matt too. I had to do 3 beeps last week. You guys are keeping my toes. Man.
That's right. Human excrement is not a bad word.
It is a
Shame
bad word. YouTube algorithm looks
oh well.
for it.
Poor YouTube. So, and also make sure you're enthusiastic at the event. You know, don't be unenthusiastic. Get in the right mood to do the event for the client. Make them feel good because you feel good that you're being there and celebrating with them their special day because they wanted you. You know, that's why they booked you. They like you. They want you, you know, and they want to share that experience with you. So you enhance their day. That's pretty much all I have to say.
And that's all great points. It's many people will look at stuff and go, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? And having that kind of thought in your mind and having a list of some kind or having stuff to make sure that you're following through with it. And you're 100% right. Day of, you're there at the wedding. You need to be in a good mood. You need to be happy because the fact that it's a festive occasion, even it's a party, even it's a corporate party, you need to be in a festive mood because the fact that it's someone else's event. If you're in a bad mood, you're going to bring everyone down. Who wants to dance with Mr. Grumpy or Mrs. Grumpy DJ there who looks like, the Grinch? And it's a Christmas party. Okay, you want to dress like the Grinch and have fun and pretend you're that fun Jim Carrey Grinch from the movie? Okay, fine, great. My granddaughter, she'll be like, oh, it's Grinchy. Hey, cool. No problem. You can do that. But if you're sitting there all sourpuss, being a Grinch, there's a big difference. And you don't want to be a Grinch at someone's event and take away from someone.
Yeah, I got something to say about that.
Go ahead.
Just, well, it's for a lot of autistic DJs, it's hard to not to get upset because we all get upset because of our disability, me and the rest of the autistic DJs. It's hard for us not to get upset at a DJ gig, especially when things go crazy and it gets overwhelming.
But also, again, that's something that you can work on calming down and relaxing and saying, hey, okay, I'm upset. I'm mad because of this. And maybe, maybe it's talking to someone. Maybe it's talking, like in your case, your dad who helps you. Maybe you're talking to your dad and say, hey, Dad, I'm bummed because of this. Or you call me up and say, hey, buddy, I'm running into a problem. I need to have a joke, something. We support other DJs too. So if DJs having a bad day, need to talk to someone, maybe they give you a call and say, hey, I'm having a bad time, or texting you and they're saying, hey, I'm bummed out because I'm having a bad time. Bradley, you want to say something?
Yeah. When it comes to, anything outside of the wedding scope, yeah, you may be able to let some emotion show. But when it comes to dealing with somebody's day, under no absolute circumstances should we ever let anybody see us sweat, see us upset, or anything wrong with us.
Yeah.
And I got the call that no kid ever wants to get. Yo, this is your mom's doctor. She's in the hospital. And this was April of this year. And she couldn't come to the phone at the time. So they just wanted to let me. My mom was adamant on me finding out that she was there just so if anything came up, I knew what to do. And this was 5 minutes before spotlight dances began. I also had my daughter working the photo booth that day. So not only could I not show my daughter what was going on, that, your dad is really in a bad place right now, I had to put the face on and go. So I told the couple, give me 2 minutes. I have to take care of this one thing. And I'm like, it's my mom. And they're like, oh, sure, no problem. Went outside, had a quick cigarette, talked to the doctor, came back in, regrouped my thoughts, and pretended it didn't happen until 12:05 that night. After that, I think I sat down in the corner and started crying with my daughter in the room going, okay, now I can tell you. But it was like, you cannot let anybody see that.
Yep.
It's their day. And there is nothing in this world that we do that should be taking away from our couple's day and experience except making it better. And if we're not able to do that, and there's several DJs in every one of our markets that need to take a step back and look and go, maybe this isn't for me. And then there's the ones that feel that or may not be able to step up to that, who are willing to go to conferences, ask questions. And I get a lot of the DJs in my market are in my inbox day and night going, how do I do this? How do I do this? I'm more than happy to help them along. So their couples that they've, booked being unprepared don't have to go through the horror stories you're seeing on all the wedding groups. So much so that me and one other DJ are talking about doing like you saw on the page, the Driftless DJs live thing, where we all meet up somewhere around here. And I think it'd be good for, not just for my area, but in everybody's respective communities that they're part of, to maybe go check out some of those conferences and groups that are out there and network and work with those individuals so you can all better, not just what you're doing, but what your couples are experiencing as well.
And that's an important thing is having
money for all of us.
Is having that support for other DJs to help each other out. And I want to see a show of hands here. I know it's happened to Tracy and it's happened to Brentley. When you get a phone call from someone saying something has happened to insert family member here, who has had that phone call at a gig? That you got the phone call saying, hey, so-and-so is having a problem. And again, it's three of us of everyone here. And I hope it never happens to the rest of you guys, but it's happened to Tracy and I. It's happened to Brentley. It's happened also to Paul. And yeah, you have to kind of go on and you're going to think about it. But the thing is that it's like anything else. You just have to say, okay, I need to take care of the client is the most important thing. They're the center of everything. And how are we going to take care of them?
See, what makes me most overwhelmed and upset is dealing with drunk guests, like who had too much to drink.
Unfortunately, we all got to deal with that. It sucks.
That's part of the industry, and anyone over drunk at a venue, it's not your fault that you're not the one who got them drunk.
No,
that's really put on the venue and the bartenders themselves.
Yeah.
And you need to approach your client and say, hey, look, a few of your guests or family are being belligerently over drunk right now. Please have someone or the maitre d' to take care of that, to make sure that either one, they cool off the situation or get them to leave in a peaceful manner if they're overly that drunk.
The cool thing I've run into
yourself first.
The cool thing I've run into at a few venues is the bartenders, your good bartenders at the bar, they notice someone who's too much alcohol. They'll start, they'll ask for, because here in Illinois, they can't do shots. You can ask for a beer, you can ask for a mixed drink, you can ask for, wine's usually at the table, but at the bar, it's a mixed drink. So have a rum and Coke. Well, what they'll do is they'll fill you up all with Coke with no rum. So you'll have Coke, but no rum, because they basically cut you off. You're still drinking, you're still having fun, but the alcohol, they like, that's it. We're going to cut you off. The good bartenders will do that. Sometimes you may have to alert them, because sometimes you have people who are not going to the bar. Their friends are going to the bar, grabbing drinks and bringing it back. And then we had a wedding. I want to say it's 22 or it's 2022. One of the bridesmaids was so into the wedding with alcohol that she had to be carried back to her room by two groomsmen. And this was at like an hour before the end of the wedding, and it was at a hotel, so they just went upstairs like, yeah, she's going. She fell down twice. They grabbed hold of her, put her in a chair, and she was, not happy, But I've run into, belligerent guests at weddings that have drank too much, and all you can try and do is kill them with kindness, be nice to them, be professional. But, you can always go to the bartender and say, hey, you see this guy over here wearing the black t-shirt or the black, whatever, and brown hair. Yeah, you see that guy there? Okay. He has a lot of alcohol in him. And I'm just going to let you know, can you make sure that, he's coming by me, he's bothering me. Can you make sure he's not drinking anymore? And most of your bartenders will agree with you.
Yeah, but under no circumstances, if it's a wedding, don't bother the bride and groom with that.
No, you never bother a bride and groom. No.
See, I've run into the problem where I actually had to go to the bride because her husband was also part of the problem. And needless to say, it's not something I'm comfortable doing. But I joke about this because I'm in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We do stupid beep up here. And at this wedding, I was joking about this the other day. The guest had decided, and it was like 10 o'clock, 10:30, to turn the dance floor into a slip and slide with beer.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. And this is at Celebrations on the River, where they have, unlike in Illinois, where you have to go ask the bartender, they just leave the cold plates of beer sitting on the bar. So people were rushing up and just throwing them on the dance floor. And the groom was the first person across. His wife was in no shape to even really be out there, but I had to be like, they're going to shut this party down in a minute. And I just want to let you know why. And it couldn't have been a couple minutes after that. Somebody broke a chair. So when I went to go get the venue manager, somebody went behind my booth and I had to physically remove them from my booth. And that was the point when the venue manager turned the lights up and screams, "We're done. Everybody get the beep out."
Go pound rocks.
I had to tell the groom's bride that because she was sitting down, she was done with the party. It had gone in a direction she didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
So she was no longer part of it. I'm like, you're going to have to corral your husband before something bad happens. And the venue took care of all of that. But there are times you might have to go bother them about some really, really stupid crap. Or like another wedding I did about 3 months ago, the bridesmaid who was going to be giving a speech was passed out in the front foyer of the venue. And I'm like, guess what? Your bridesmaid is not giving a speech tonight. Can you help get two people and get her into the suite or somewhere where she can sleep it off? Mm-hmm. This is and so these are some of the things you have to go to them with. Yeah. Unlike you guys,
the biggest thing is
I get
if
some
it involves your
wild
safety
weddings
of you and your equipment.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
I'm all about it.
I have to get the bride and groom involved because you're the one that's going to say to them, "I'm done. This party is over." It may not be the maitre d' in the venue. It might even be if the venue has a security guard on staff monitoring everybody's, level. If they have that, they might call it off and they have to inform the bride and groom this party is over. So regardless of almost 95% of the situations, the bride and groom are going to get involved. They're the paying client. They got to know why is my event being stopped for any reason. So
the thing you don't have to go and bother the bride and groom for every little thing. A drunk person,
not
drunk
every
patron, going to the bartender, hey, can you cut this person off? Stuff like that. But if something that's going to involve them, yeah, you should talk to them about, especially you get to end early for a reason. I want to see a show of hands real quickly here. How many times do people love it, even after you make an announcement, please do not bring in glasses onto the dance floor, and during the night you have someone drop a glass and they broke a glass on the dance floor? How many times does that happen, broken glass on the dance floor?
5. Plenty.
I will say at certain venues I'm at, Celebrations on the River, as soon as the dance starts, I will actually go get the broom and dustpan and leave it somewhere by my booth because I know it's going to happen. It's going to start. And 95% of the time, within 90 minutes to 2 hours of the reception really getting going, as soon as grandma and grandpa leaves, things start flying and dropping.
I got a quick question. How many of us, or do we know any DJ that actually brings a Dyson stick vacuum?
Well,
you do, Brett. You have a
Dyson.
I don't have a Dyson. I've got a super cute mini little shop vac.
Okay.
I got it because I have sparks.
Yes.
And if I'm doing cold sparks, the dust that stuff spreads, I would rather get it cleaned up, right afterwards. Or if I can't do it because there's just too much going on, at some point before I leave that night, I'm cleaning that dust up so I don't get the bad rep with the venue.
Right. Yeah.
What I love is the
Love you already.
facilities.
That's prep work, baby.
What I love is the
Attention to
facilities
every
that
detail
switch from-
possible.
I love the facilities that switch from glass to plastic when the dance floor opens.
Yeah.
And they drop.
See,
all you got to do
that's
is have
great.
someone mop it.
But you have those older guests and other guests who keep that glass cup and they'll get the plastic cup. I can't drink in plastic, and will pour it into their glass cup that's been sitting on the table all night.
Yeah.
I've seen
That's a
venues.
big Wisconsin thing.
Yeah, I've seen venues actually will only do the glass cup for literally the toast, and that's it. Everything else is that crystal acrylic plastic, unbreakable for people, and you can't tell the difference on some of that glassware. It truly looks
You can't.
like glass. You can't. And then when the toast is over, when they sit down to get their first meal, the wait staff actually takes that glass away.
That makes
They
sense.
have that. It's very good making sense, and that way you don't have to worry about it. And then many times the bar, if the night gets really right after dinner, if everyone wants a regular glass like that, they don't have glass. I've seen them switch over to plastic cups after dinner at least.
And
It's a bad venue when they start bringing out the red cups.
Oh, red solo cups. No, that's a great one. That's
Solo
usually
cups.
that's like cross.
Okay.
It lifts me up.
Here, if you're in Wisconsin, you've probably got a two of them in your back seat or in your car somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially during.
In Wisconsin,
Everyone's
they
got
have the
the real
shotgun
glass
rack across
minis.
the back window. They have a shotgun across the top,
No,
and then
that's
the beer
Iowa.
cups next.
Iowa's got the shotgun racks because I've done weddings I don't do weddings in Iowa very often, but the last couple I did, there were trucks with not one shotgun, but several shotguns in the rack.
Get
Just
the rack
sitting out
stacked
there.
up.
Well, yeah,
It's like-
that's where you roll.
So, Dwayne, what do you see in Ohio when it comes to like bartenders and drunk guests and stuff? You're muted. We can't hear you.
They've been pretty tame, so I haven't ran into that yet.
Me neither. And I live in South Carolina, and once one person gets drunk here, then everyone's going to get drunk. So it's hard to pinpoint, who is drunk and who's not.
What
I
about you,
haven't
Jeff?
come across a venue like Uncle Bob's in the Blues Brothers with chicken wire across the stage. Haven't come across that yet.
No, we're all in
I-
cam.
I have.
Yeah.
What about
real,
you, Jeff? What about the North Carolina?
there's one up
Do you
here.
see-
Yeah.
Do you see
Well,
many
in
you got
drinks?
North
chicken
Carolina,
wire and
you have
poles.
the white lightning to beware of.
Gobble, gobble.
Sometimes the grooms will do several shots of the illicit liquid, and I've been to, or I've DJ'd at least two where the groom was barely able to stand during the ceremony. Literally his best man was standing there with him and holding him up from time to time. So and I was there when I walked in. I was talking to him, and they were doing shots out of a mason jar. So it was, it is what it is. And they asked, "Hey, you want some?"
That's
I'm
like doing
"No,
shots at Everclear."
I want to be able to stand later.
See, that's where they keep the good stuff. And I actually get happy when I see people, I mean, in a bad way, get happy when I see bottles of moonshine come out at a reception, because I know I'm going to be done by 10 or 11 o'clock in the home well before we were supposed to end. And this summer, two of the moonshine weddings, 10 and 10:30, done. I was home in my pajamas by like 11 o'clock laughing about it.
Well, I mean,
I
people
love
pass
those.
on a dance floor. That's fun.
No, that was in April. Sorry. That was in April. That was the bride and groom got tired, so tired that they sat down in the middle of the dance floor in a big circle with their friends and just kind of went to sleep for a little while. Their friends were talking, or they were laying down. I'm not sure if they were sleeping, nodding out a little bit, but it was this big circle thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Guess this
See-
one's done.
Now, what I would have done is stop playing music and start playing that lullaby music, and really put them to sleep for a while.
If I did that, this was the Minecraft and gamer wedding I did over this in April.
Wow.
And they spent $4,500 on a Minecraft cake. For their sunset pictures, they went out in Minecraft helmets for their sunsets. He cut the cake with a Minecraft style sword.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Did he have it forged in fire?
I have no idea.
That would
I
be
have
great.
no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like, and one of the most expensive weddings I've ever booked for myself.
Wait,
Like,
Jeff's
premium
grabbing something.
across the board.
What do you got there,
And
Jeff?
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
And see,
That's
I've
the
only got
Mac
a couple of
Daddy.
cute katanas downstairs. They're faster. They're lighter.
I keep
they're
that in my
sleeker.
office.
That's
I have two, actually.
That is gorgeous, Jeff. What that
And,
cost you?
The next person to make a bad request.
I got you to go a couple things here. We got people talking in the chat. I even talked to the chat for a little bit. I saw Mike and I said, "What's up?"
Hey,
Kevin's
Mike.
here, and he always has a Happy Meal before he arrives at the event.
Oh no!
I'm like, okay. Mike has a Monster. Okay, I deal with Monster. I like Monster. He also said he loves alcohol mussels. Most venues will tell you only people they listen to are the bride and groom. So unfortunately, you have to go to the bride and groom and get them involved. That's in certain things. Like before, when someone's drunk, they're going to want out someone drunk out there. And again, you're talking to the bartender. A lot of times they do that. I had a couple that had to go back to the JP the next day to say their vows over because they were intoxicated. So they had to go back to the officiant and do their vows over because they were so intoxicated. Here in Pennsylvania, if the bride and groom or one or the other are too drunk, the marriage is not legal.
Yeah.
No
No pre-gaming, man. There's no pre-gaming before the ceremony.
So yeah,
You can't do
they
that.
got to be sober to get married. Oh wow,
Well,
I'm sure the
and
same thing
see-
as a lot of states.
Well, think
I mean,
of
one of the weddings I did-
Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Princess Vespa. She was, or no, 16 candles. 16 candles. The girl was.
Muscle
Yeah.
relaxers, two of them.
Yeah.
Not that I remember the movie.
yeah.
She
But
said
here,
she
you know-
took two.
And little do they realize they almost had a free pass right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's even, and it's funny, you guys are talking about you're not supposed to get, the couple's not supposed to be intoxicated out there. I can't tell you how many times I've watched the officiant belly up to the bar and start doing shots with the groom and the groomsmen before they go down. Like,
So I
there's
take
one
it-
I did a couple summers ago. They're
Brentley,
at the bar
are you-
with a bottle.
Are you registered to be an officiant?
Yes, I am.
All right. How many of us are? I
Oh,
am.
yeah.
How many people
I am.
here are ordained officiants? So two?
Only two. Wow. Okay.
It was a joke. My friend's like, I want you to be our priest guy thingy. I'm like, no, you don't. It'd be hilarious, dude. And this was during COVID. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go online and do it. And I messaged him back. I'm like, guess what, dude? I can marry you. No way. And it couldn't have been 2 or 3 months later where celebrations, their venue manager calls me on a Sunday afternoon at 3:00. Hey, what are you doing? I'm in my pajamas. Why? You want to marry a few people for a few $100? Or a couple people for a few $100? Yeah, I'm on my way. Let me get dressed. And that was it. I printed like one of the scripts I already had ready to go. I'm just
Yeah.
like, we're going to fill in your names here. I'm going to do this. We'll be done in 5 minutes and you'll be off to the party.
There you go.
And that couple later even said, after the reception, we should have just gotten you for the DJ thing too. I'm like, oh,
Now, have you gotten gigs because of that now for this venue?
yeah, I have.
Oh,
I have.
that's good.
Well,
That's-
celebrations, I have a very unique relationships with Celebration that I'm on their VIP and preferred list.
Yep.
I will do, if they say, hey, I need a photo booth for Mother's Day event, here's my photo booth for free. Go ahead, use it. I don't care. Anything like they want extra stuff out of me or need my advice, input, I am all about helping them along because they feed me weddings in the season. Like,
Yep.
feed me. If it wasn't for them, I would have to get a real job. For real. That's
So,
how many weddings
So Mike also says hello to Cool Thing. Forgot that. I got to sneeze.
Gesundheit. Santé.
Gesundheit.
He muted us.
Yeah, I muted it so that way you guys don't hear me sneezing.
I should have
Oh,
made,
the
I should have
host-
made a really
When
silly
the host has
sound
to
effect,
sneeze,
like,
we're all quiet.
Everybody's like, oh, what's going to happen? Is the show going to end? Well, yeah, we're going to end the show. Because we've been through an hour. We've
And
been
on
through
that
an
note-
hour. And I'm glad that everyone here had some information to give and some tips and tricks. Hopefully those tips and tricks will help you out there. And, again, this is what we do the show. We do the show are those noses or are those something else? Those look
Those are
like
noses.
Okay, I just kind of look like something else.
Those are noses.
Okay. But this is where we do it. Hopefully this helps you out, some tips and tricks in a minute or two. And, maybe hopefully gives you a little insight and also makes you a better DJ and you're not forgetting things and not doing those gig logs saying, hey, I forgot insert whatever here. So, thank you so much for coming in tonight and watching the show. And thank you guys all in the chat. Appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. Now, who's going to take us out tonight? I will have I actually have Dwayne. Dwayne, you haven't done it in a little bit. Dwayne, I know I always love hearing your voice. I love watching your gig logs. It's always great hearing from you. Can you do me a favor and take us out tonight?
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on the DJ Roundtable. I hope you have a great week and make sure to join us next week as well at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. All right. Take care and see you all next week.
Peace
Good night, guys.
out. Peace.